Hello! So, today for our read aloud lesson, we are going to be reading an article from March 2020 called Friendship is About Loyalty, Not Laws. Should it be policed? It's written by Leah Plunkett. So, yesterday we read through the whole piece and sort of looked at different meanings of words and phrases. We looked at ones like poker dispute in a local saloon or dominant human relationship, from the silver to the gold, or lawlessness of friendship. So lately we've been focusing on figuring out what different words and phrases mean and how they're used in the text. So, yesterday when we read through the article and highlighted some words and phrases, that helped us understand the text and kind of what was trying to be said here. So, for example, the phrase, the lawlessness of friendship, helped us understand that the author is discussing that friendship has no laws. We don't need laws to make or have friends. It's based more on loyalty, as it says here in the article. Okay, so today we are going to be using some of those words and phrases and the author's ideas to understand how the author uses her ideas to write the article. So the author has an opinion about something and is using this article to explain it. So we're going to look at how she does that. Yesterday when we focused on what she meant, and today we're going to focus on how she portrays that idea. So we know that she wanted to show us that friendships should not have laws or be policed in any way because it relies more on comfort and loyalty. Like when you have a friend, you're not being friends with them because you have to normally. You're being friends with them because they are someone that you can talk to or someone you can trust and you just like their company. So that's what the author is saying here. And so we're gonna look at how she portrays that idea and explains it throughout the article. So the first part of the text, we're going to look at the introduction. So it's the first two paragraphs. It says, "My great-great-uncle Matt Plunkett was the sheriff of Deadwood, South Dakota back in 1906 when Buffalo Bill Cody came to town. One picture shows mustachioed Sheriff Plunkett with Buffalo Bill next to a statue of Wild Bill Hickok, who'd been killed decades earlier over a poker dispute in a local saloon. According to the caption, Buffalo Bill was in Deadwood to pay his respects to a friend and fellow gunslinger, though why my uncle was there I don't know. Perhaps to keep the peace. Friendship is the most lawless of our close relationships. That's why it's been the dominant human relationship on which today's digital world of 21st century Wild West has been won. Digital social networks are built on the sharing of private information, just like real-world friendships. The technology encourages us to share both about ourselves and the people around us. Who is likely to comprise the largest category of people we interact with every day? Friends, from the silver to the gold, as the old song goes, and many other types of metals too." Okay, so I want us all to stop there and look at those two paragraphs. So here the author is introducing her beliefs and what she wants to tell to the world. So we want to think about the way that the author decided to introduce it. So if you think about other books, movies, shows, any sort of entertainment or media, when there's a story that or an opinion being told, there's different kinds of ways that it's introduced. So sometimes we'll see a movie where it shows the future first and then it does a flashback and tells the story from there. Or like it tells the big climax and the big thing that happened. Or it'll start out by showing something that happened way in the past, and then now in today's day it's explaining the story like from today's point of view now. Some people might tell a story or tell a joke, just different examples of how they might introduce what they want to tell in their work or their text. So, looking at these different examples, you'll be able to see better how this specific author showed her own ideas. So, how do the examples you come up with compare to what the author does here? I want y'all to turn to your partner and talk about different introductions that you've seen in past media and what you see here. Alright, so let's move on to the next text part. So I will read it and then we will talk about it. Okay, so let's take New Hampshire, where I used to be a legal aid lawyer representing youth clients and am now a law professor. The state's Pupil Safety and Violence Prevention Act 2000 for students in primary and secondary school says that bullying happens when a student does one or more of the following to a peer. 1. Physically harms a pupil or damages the pupil's property. 2. Causes emotional distress to a pupil. 3. Interferes with a pupil's educational opportunities. 4. Creates a hostile educational environment. Or 5. Substantially disrupts the orderly operation of the school. Cyberbullying occurs when this behavior takes place through the use of electronic devices. Let's flip it. To be a friend, a student would need to 1. Physically support or improve a peer or their property. 2. Cause emotional comfort to a peer. 3. Support or enhance a peer's educational opportunities. 4. Create a positive educational environment. Or 5. Substantially protect the orderly operation of the school. To engage in cyber friendship, this behavior would need to take place electronically. Okay, so that's where we're going to stop for this text. So today we looked at not only, we looked at what the way that the author introduces her ideas, but we're also going to look at how she explains those and sort of carries them out throughout the article. I wanted to use this part because I feel like it explains the author's views in ways that we may not see in most texts. So I want you all to underline things that you see in this part of the text, in these paragraphs, that help the author explain her ideas and her opinions and what she's trying to tell through this article. And then I want you to turn to your partner again and discuss what you observed here. What did you find? How does that show what the author was trying to explain? After talking to your partner about that, I will ask a few groups to share what they talked about with the class. Okay. So today we focused on analyzing the way that the author of this text says her ideas throughout her writing. We looked at 2 important strategies for this analyzing. One was that we looked at the introduction and we asked ourselves, what does this author want the reader to know or think about? And then how does she present those ideas and put those out on the table for the reader to see and understand what she wants us to know from her? how did she introduce the article? And then the second strategy we looked at was how we looked throughout the rest of the text and thought about how the author uses her voice to tell what she wants to say to the world. So how does she do that, rather than what she is saying, but how does she express that throughout the whole article and sort of illustrate that idea throughout. So for next time, I would like you all to read the whole article. We already read through it a couple times, but I want you to read it all and underline or highlight parts of the story that you felt the author used to carry out and explain her ideas. So we talked about how her idea was about the idea of friendships being without laws. So how underline places where you think that she really explained that. Underline 7 things, and we will look through those tomorrow. And before we are done for the day, I would like to work through a plan on how you're going to read the article. So rather than just reading the article and underlining random things, I want you all to think to yourself and ask yourself, does this explain the idea of friendships being without laws and how it does that? You can write little notes on the side and just sort of explain how she might be doing that rather than just where she is. So we will talk more about that tomorrow. Thank you for being here today, and I will see you later.